How's it going, guys? In today's video, I wanted to share with you 3 riffs that I think make Jakey Lee a fantastic player. He's my favorite Ozzy Osbourne guitarist. I love them all, of course, but he stands out for me because he's got a really quirky, slightly unorthodox playing style, and I think you guys can get a lot from his riffs if you haven't learned too many before. In this riff, we're going to cover 3, as I said. You've got the track Never from The Ultimate Sin, Never Know Why, also from The Ultimate Sin, and Rock and Roll Rebel. And a lot of you are probably wondering, what about Badlands? What about Red Dragon Cartel? Simple fact is, the Aussie riffs inspired me more than the rest. To kick things off, we're going to be looking at Rock and Roll Rebel. To follow along, you need to be tuned down half a step, like the live version of the song, okay? The original is played in standard tuning. And if you happen to be in standard tuning, just copy what my fingers are doing. To get this rolling, you need to be barring across the 2nd fret here on, well, the main strings of focus are the low E, the D string and the G string. There's no pressure to cover all 6. And what you've got, I'll play a little chunk of it for you. Okay, now what we were doing there is simple but complicated in terms of technique, because what really sets this riff apart are the big stretches that you've got to include, otherwise it can't work. So what we're going to do is start off with the D and G string, 2nd fret. Then between each change, you've got 2 chugs on the low E. The next note on the G string is the 4th fret there. Then the next one would be the 6th fret there with the little finger. Give that a practice. And then when the riff turns around, you've got to include that little scratch in there. Down, up. Gives it a sense of pace. Then when you get to the end of that little section, you're going A and D, 2nd fret, slide up to 4. Then the full power chord there. An important part of Jakey Lee's style is rather than just do the root and the 5th, he'll actually include the octave on the top. Then up an octave. There and barring across. He'll sometimes include that major 3rd too, just for fun. You can hear it in the live version, certainly. To go around again, you repeat the same thing, except we're going to add an extra stretch. Here we go. You include that scratch. Then that introduces this guy here, this stretch here, 2nd fret and the 7th fret on the G string there. And the way to accommodate this technique-wise is to get used to rotating that hand and bring the elbow in. If you sat down, it's basically like you're going to elbow yourself in the plums. Whereas if you stood up, maybe bring the guitar around a little bit to accommodate the stretch. But the goal here is okay, get them to ring with clarity. Subtly different ending there as well. It goes 7th fret on the A and D, down to 4, then back to that F sharp chord there. Up an octave once again. And there are different fill riffs you can do. You can do 0 1 2 0 1 2, so and there, in several versions of the live track, you get different tapping licks and different ideas. Loads of cool things to do. Maybe I'll teach those in the future. But let's move on to the next riff. Now, if you thought Rock and Roll Rebel was hard, the riff to Never is something else. It includes stretches like Rock and Roll Rebel, but there's a lot more intricacy involved in this riff, and I think it really stands out from a lot of other riffs Jake did with Ozzy. Now, what we're starting off with is this lick. I'm going to play it slowly for you. Okay, now what we've got there is an open A, 3rd fret on the A string there, hammer on to 7, pull off to 3, then back off to open there. You'll notice I haven't included the palm muting yet. You do that after you've learned the notes. Repeat that twice. B power chord, A power chord. Repeat the same thing on the A. Then instead we play an F sharp, which is D on the 4th fret. And it's C power chord, then D power chord. So what you should have so far. Once you start to include the muting, which all you do is just literally mute the A with your palm there, starts to really come to life. Then once you've done that a couple more times, you get this really cool pentatonic scale filler lick. It's in the key of A minor, and you've got so starting off on the B string there, that's the 8th fret there, we're pulling off the 5, then open, G string, 7, 5, open, D string is the same, A string's the same, then we skip back to the G string, D string, then we go back to the low E there, 3rd fret. Then you got an A power chord there to finish, and that's where this really interesting riff kicks in. Let me play it for you. Now, what we've got is A string there, or an A chord effectively. Then it goes to an open D. You're keeping this rhythm going the entire time. Open D and G. Then we quickly cover that, if you like, and move on to the D string, 7th fret there, and we keep that going. And it goes basically a G power chord there. You've got D5 and G7, sorry. Then you take that finger off the G string there, and then you've got D and G5. So pedal on this for a few moments. Then instantly it goes down to F sharp with the index finger, and then you've got the same notes repeated on the G string, 7 and 5. Let me play it for you slowly. So and you've got this filler lick here. Sort of thing that would inspire Nuno Bettencourt eventually, I reckon. Then we move on to the same riff again. So then you got this lick. That would be the riff to Never. Have some fun with that. Lastly, we've got the riff to Never Know Why, also from The Ultimate Sin. And this one features that really awesome two-handed fake delay thing that Jakey Lee pioneered. And what you've got to start off the riff, we're on the A and D strings. You've got 5 and then 7. I hammer onto that 7th fret there. You don't have to, but it's more of a feel thing for this riff. Then it's D and G5 and you rest there for a second. Hit that D and G5 again, slide up to 7 and then back down. Then in my case, I use my ring finger. You're gonna hammer on to 7 on the A and the D. Then slide away. And And then what you're going to do is repeat that slide. In my case, I use my index finger. Jake, I think, used his index finger as well. Hammer on from nowhere, slide all the way down. And whilst that's on its way down, bring this hand back, because you're going to use that index finger to repeat the slide again. So you've got the same thing again. You've got to try and get them as close as you can to being the same each time. So he says. Repeat that. That slide again. Jake was really big on this chord shape. What you've got here is I'm borrowing from the A string all the way up to the high E. You've got G7 and B8. And what he does is you'll play through most of the chord, basically up to the B string there. And then arpeggiate back down from the high E down to the G. Repeat that again. Same thing, you just move down 2 frets. Then your verse riff starts, take from it what you will. Do that whole neck bending thing, or you can use your whammy bar, it's totally up to you. That's Never Know Why. Thank you very much for watching this video, you guys. I hope you've liked what you've seen. If you want me to cover some more riffs rather than licks, please list them in the comments below. I'd love to know what riffs you'd like to learn. In the meantime, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.